What's up, guys and ladies? Pastor Terry here. Do me a favor, stop what you're doing because I'm about to ruin. City Church celebrates 8 years of ministry. I want you to go into your comments and we need all the emojis. We need the fire. We need the firecrackers. We need the gifts. We need the hands up. We need the tears. We need it all. I want you to fully express yourself in the comments. Let us know how you feel as we celebrate tomorrow. Actually, the 26th, January 26th, 2014 was the official launch of the ministry, and we officially celebrate on that day. We honor that day. Now, I know there's some who are like, man, it seems like y'all be having 2 birthdays. All right. So this is kind of what we do. Generally in November, when we have Love, Laughter, and Lipstick, we're already in party mode. So while we're in party mode, we just go ahead and throw a big party for ourselves on the weekend of Love, Laughter, and Lipstick. It's not the date, but it's just that season, and it works for us. But we still also recognize and honor the date, which is January 26, 2014. That's for all of you who didn't know, all of you who have been wondering, all the nosy people and the haters. At least now you know where we're coming from. So I'm excited. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's conversation. It's going to be like this all week. We haven't had an opportunity to be together physically in the room for 2 weeks now. And just on the cuff, we said, man, if we can't see each other physically, then we're just going to throw a big week-long party every weeknight virtually and touch some of our best dream teamers, our best leaders. We have so many. There's no way that we could have fit everybody in, but a few people that the Lord put on our hearts, we reached out to them. We asked for their consent. We got them to sign waivers because these conversations can go anywhere. I saw one yesterday. We're going to have to edit it a little bit. It gets real talk when it comes to City Church, but nonetheless, man, we love the vision that God has given us. I'm honored. I'm excited. And tonight, I'm excited to share with you absolutely one of our best. Not only are they 2 phenomenal leaders, they're 2 phenomenal servants. They are a dad and mom, husband and wife package. You guys know them as the Joneses. Part A or B, whatever. We're the Joneses. And then there are a few other Joneses. So there's a part A, part B. I'll let them fight over that. But my wife and I, we're the Joneses. And then however you want to label this. But nonetheless, they are Alfonso and Gwen Jones. And we want to welcome them to the screen. Make some noise for them, guys and ladies.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Good. Welcome into the room, guys. Thank you for giving me this time. It's an honor. To be absolutely honest, I could have had anybody. I don't have to be here. I don't have to do this. But this is out of the honor and respect that I have for you, the sacrifice, the time and the years of service and leadership. I wouldn't dare let anybody else sit right here. I want to have this talk with you face to face. Do me a favor. Let's start right here. Go ahead and take a moment and kind of introduce yourselves to the world.
All right. My name is Alfonso Jones. I assist with worship at the City Church.
And I'm Gwen, and I am ministry lead for Connections. And together we are also owners of a safe place here in Greenville. We are grief counselors, we're grief recovery specialists, and we've got a host of certifications between the 2 of us and a master's degree in counseling and specifically in marriage and family.
I love it. So not only does the City Church produce like swag, but you guys love the Lord. Yeah. You are a family unit. You're a strong family unit in every sense of the word, but y'all smart too. You don't play no games. Y'all are smart too. You're business owners. And a lot of people might not know this about you. On the weekend, every weekend that the City Church gathers, what is your travel like?
It's like a 45 minute commute. So we're getting up really early in the morning.
So early.
Yeah. Got to shake and rattle everybody, get them up.
Yeah.
Cool. Because normally I have to be at church first, and they get to meander and do whatever they want after I get dropped off.
So listen, man, this 45 minutes, that's absolutely too far. Listen, I appreciate y'all for your years of service. You don't got to make this drive no more. I want you to just find somewhere local. Don't even worry about how does that make you feel?
That just stressed me out. Like, look, my heart started palpitating. No, never.
Well, listen, if that's what the Lord calls for, then that's what we'll all submit to. But in this season, we kicking it together. You ain't going nowhere. We are family. Joneses for real. Let's talk for a second. Like Alfonso, man, I was just thinking like, I guess it would have been 1995, 96.
Yeah.
We're at Eastern Wayne High School. We're in typing class together. I mean, I'm trying to get my education on. You over there clowning. We're in typing class together. I never would have imagined what that been almost 25 years or so ago that we be, in ministry together. Like, talk about that just for a second. What does that look like?
Yeah, it crosses my mind often just to know that we, all these years later, that it comes to this. Although I was a clown, I was an introverted clown, and you on the other hand, we both didn't really talk that much, to be honest.
I was the same way.
So it's really strange to see us now as we are and how we've grown and developed. So it's just amazing. I mean, being in class with you and seeing Lady J through the halls every now and again. And to be honest, so many of the City Church family, it's like if we rewind back, we could do like a reunion of sorts, Jahari and Drew and like all the people. So it's amazing to know that God orchestrates a path like that, and we would have had no clue at all.
I talk often about how when I was in school, there was a certain attire that I just had to wear. This was just my personal standard. It didn't matter what anybody else was doing. I did this for me. It made me feel good. And I'll be absolutely honest, there weren't many people who were ready to compete. Other than Alfonso, his creases were sharper than mine. Depending on whatever outfit, his shirt tucked in tighter than mine. Like we were going hard back in the day.
You know what, OPT? To be honest, mine was not by choice. To be honest, my legs were too long, my feet were too big, so I had whatever was in the JCPenney catalog that looked good and matched. That's what I was wearing. So unfortunately, it was. Now look at her laughing because she didn't like it.
Listen, our kids will never know anything about that JCP catalog. That thing used to be fire.
And he had to burn it when he met me.
That's a whole nother discussion. We're gonna get there in just a second. God had a plan from the beginning. So let's talk about this, guys and ladies. What was your church history like prior to City Church?
Well, I was raised Baptist, and we talk a lot about how when I was growing up, we didn't have to pay. My parents didn't have to pay for all these extracurricular activities. Like everything extra was at the church. We had like bells on Monday. We had choir practice on Tuesday. It was Bible study on Wednesday. And, like everything was just through the church. So I was kind of raised in church. And then when I went to college, of course, I found a church because church is all I know. And so I found this local church. It was a small college ministry. And here come Mr. Jones. I was there first, minding my business.
We're talking about church.
We're talking about church. So I was in church.
She's trying to switch it up.
So this kind of explains a lot to who you have become, Gwen. When you said your church had bells on Mondays, like clearly y'all were Baptist and bougie, because we were giving away Punch and Commodore cookies from Vacation Bible School, and y'all had a bells class.
We did.
That's next level right there.
It was intense. We had sheet music and everything, and the bells were different colors.
Oh yeah. I love it. I'm not mad at all. How about you, Mr. Alfonso?
So I've grown up in church as well. My dad, being in the military, we saw a lot of different type of church. I grew up watching my parents be in leadership and actually being in ministry in different ministries, starting churches and putting chairs up, putting them up, using things of that nature. So moving forward into my adulthood, we grew up in church together, and then it came to a point where they say, you can do your own thing and branch out, and that's what I did. And I came to Greenville. I said I want to see what else is out there in the world. Kind of trying to get away without getting away in the name of the Lord.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I came to Greenville, found a ministry here, and of course that's where we met Gwen. But always been in church. There was never a moment where I could not be in church. Matter of fact, I remember trying my hand at sports at Greenwood Elementary, and we always had revivals going on, and I made it on the basketball team. But the problem was, if there was a revival going on, there was no games going on. It don't care. It doesn't matter if there was a game scheduled or not. So I missed a lot of games because I had to be in revival at church.
That's next level right there.
I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna leave the sports thing alone. Might as well. I'm just gotta go to church. So that's my church history.
So we just so happened to get here, and I would do an injustice by not allowing you to kind of settle this battle. So you're both finding church. You find a place where you're both in together, not really knowing each other. How did this happen? Like, how did meeting and getting a relationship? Now, I'm sure y'all have thought about this for a long time. So you can kind of talk about, figure it out. We're kind of live here. We don't want the world like looking at y'all different. So kind of have a huddle, figure out what y'all gonna say, and give us what that story looked like.
I'm gonna hand it over to my wife. Just go ahead and tell the story.
It's a smart man right there.
I'll insert where story diverge.
So I was a part of the ministry, serving, doing what I do, and he came as a guest singer, a guest.
Yeah, I was visiting.
And to be honest, I had no interest in him absolutely whatsoever, because he started singing and the girls went crazy. And so I was just like, what I will not be is his group.
Listen,
I was done with it. I didn't pay no mind.
Hearing you say that has settled my heart a little bit, because there's some weekends where I see him and I feel like there's this old nature trying to come up. It's like Alfonso Genuine trying to come out. I'm like, Alfonso, you're changed now, sir. You got to keep your shirt on this week. And the Lord keeps him, but I can sense that inner conflict going on there.
It's definitely there, and it was real. So I just kind of felt back. I was intentionally ignoring him, very much just keeping to myself. But one day we were waiting before. Okay, I'm just go ahead and say it. I'm trying to tiptoe around it. Pastor, I'm doing this for you. Okay.
Get out of the bag.
I'm getting nervous. I'm getting nervous. I haven't heard this. I don't know. I'm nervous.
I was on the praise team. We were singing together. We were waiting for praise team rehearsal. Okay. And he was just all super pitiful. He had such a long day. And I'm kind of like, well, what's wrong with you? And he's like, oh, my day is hard. I was so tired. And so I was just being nice and polite and encouraging him, because I am an encourager at my core. And he really just kind of took it and ran with it.
So that happened. And then, so let's kind of rewind and talk about this as well. So one of the reasons she was so upset was because when I did sing at the church, it was very random. Like, I knew somebody who knew somebody, and they were like, hey, come here real quick. So she was upset that I never came to a rehearsal and I just got up there on that Sunday and sang. So she was like,
I mean, he walked in the door, walked straight to the stage and grabbed the mic.
No, Grant, it was not my own accord. Yeah, she was upset about like that messed her up. How is he gonna come in here and say he hasn't been to the first rehearsal? So anyway, but
that don't even sound like me, does it? That don't sound nothing like me. Look at him.
I wasn't there. I wasn't there.
So fast forward. So after that day of me being tired, the next time we came to rehearsal, she had this little, I don't remember if it was typed out or hand drawn little picture of a frog with some encouraging words on it. And it was at that moment that I knew that
he fell in love. I was just trying to tell him to fully rely on God. That's it, Pastor. I was just telling him that God got him and my little frog man.
Oh, that's what the frog was about. Fully rely.
Yes, it's an acronym.
Oh. So you a little Jezebel. You coming? you trying to cover it up, keep Jesus on the top of it, but you had like motive underneath. That was smooth. I'm like a frog. You in college? What you doing? Give me a frog.
It was an acronym. I was telling him, I would fully rely on God. That was it. And then, I mean, something about that frog. He just, he didn't go away.
Listen, if I see some papers going around City Church with frog on it, y'all getting put out. We not going to be doing that. I bind that spirit in Jesus' name right now. So do me a favor, guys. Let's talk really fast. Out of all of that, you transition from there, you get married, you're doing your thing. And somehow or another, you stumbled across a place called the City Church. Like, how did you get introduced to the city?
Wow. So, of course, you and I've seen you around. You know, we were in high school together and you dropped by Chick-fil-A periodically. And then you actually invited me out to speak at the church for, I don't know if there was a training that was going on. On a Saturday morning. And that was one of the moments I knew there was something different about this ministry. Because, like, why are you calling a random guy to talk about customer service at a church? You know, so that really threw me initially. I'm like, this is interesting. I'm not used to this. Fast forward, we were in a position of transition between ministries, and we always kind of list out what we're looking for in a ministry before we start looking. And so we did our little list. We were looking around Greenville. And we saw, I don't know if it was on social media, but Travis Green was coming to the City Church. We like Travis Green. Kids like Travis Green. Let's go visit Pastor Terry and Lady J down there in Goldsboro and check this thing out. So we went to the church that Sunday, enjoyed it. We were riding back to Greenville talking about how, hey, listen, so now we have a standard of what we're going to look for when we get back home. Yeah. So we're like, okay, now this is the type of ministry we're looking for. So we talked about it.
Yeah, we did. We prayed about it.
We prayed.
We told God we wanted a ministry just like this in Greenville.
Because we knew, I traveled back and forth to Goldsboro every day. So I was like, God, I'm not trying to do it on a Sunday. Like every weekday, I got you, but on a Sunday, let me rest. You said rest, Lord. So it was on a Monday. I took her out to lunch, and I said, you know what, babe? And she said,
I saw it in his eyes.
We're going to be driving to Goldsboro. I said, yeah. So God told me, he's like, it's not like that. I didn't show you that because that's what I want you to get like. Yeah. That's where you're going to be. Yeah. Wow. And the rest is history.
Man, when you guys came in, I mean, you hit the ground running. There was so much you were able to offer the house after kind of taking in the heart of the house. You were trustworthy. I mean, you were married. You were a strong family unit. You were in many cases what many people saw as a picture perfect model. To be absolutely honest, even for me, there was a time when They're kind of like the picture perfect model. So you're serving, you're getting connected, blah, blah, blah. Alfonso has this thing every special occasion, birthday, anniversary, whatever. He always sends me a voice message. Matter of fact, your whole family does it. But Alfonso, he always does it. And I can't lie, coming from him as a bro, it means something different. When you take your time to give me your words, you honor my time. And because you honor my time so much, you're not going to waste my time with these like whimsical words. And so that's been a long time now, but I will never forget. One time, Alfonso sent me a message. He says, PT, I'm so thankful for you. I'm so thankful for the City Church. Without you guys, we don't know where we would be. You said something along the lines of, when we got to the City Church, from a marital standpoint, we didn't know if we were going to make it. And now this is like maybe a year or so later. And I'm listening to that like, what is he talking about? Is he okay? I don't know if I text you or called you. And I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? What? Tell me. Like, we can look back at it now. You hid it so well. And so many people probably don't even know this side of you guys. Can we talk for a minute about what was that like? Those marital people see you as the grief recovery expert, and now you premarital. You're my go-to for in-house premarital. But in many cases, we didn't know that there was ministry being birthed out of pain. So kind of share with us, what was that season like for you guys?
Man, it was a slow train wreck happening. Wow. And I say that because being raised in the church for such a young age, you are raised to understand that ministry is your primary concern and priority. It's your number one priority. Oh, yeah. And going into marriage, I always looked at it that way. So it's Jesus and church, it's work, and then whatever else left over, family, what have you. So as we're married and having that same structure and started having kids
so early,
and nothing changed about it. So I'm working 50, 60 hours a week. I'm going to church because church has like whatever God says, and God is church. In my mind, whatever church says, I have to do, whether it's worship, worshiping, going straight to service from work and not stopping home. And I have a young wife with a child and then 2 kids, and I'm calling to say, all right, I gotta go serve, and then I'll be back. After she's expecting me to come in.
And you had left it like 5 o'clock. So you would leave at 5 o'clock in the morning, get off around 6, you're working 12-hour days, go straight to Bible study, church meeting, whatever it was. You haven't seen us.
Right. And it caused such a rip because I'm looking at her like what's your problem? Do you love? I love God. Do you love God? What's wrong with you? So we're battling. She's crying, begging for my attention, for my help, and I'm telling her, no, this is the calling. Like, this is what God said, and you need to get in line. So it was
in essence, I mean, I won't say church was killing us, but religion and the lack of priority was killing us. And I mean, to put it in perspective, we got married fresh out of college, and about 3 months later we were pregnant with Alyssa.
Yep.
And we were planning to wait for like 5 years. Yeah. So I'm, a Black woman in science. I'm just starting my career at ECU. And I started, research in predominantly white environment. I mean, so I'm handling, and my husband works in Goldsboro. So I'm handling all the day-to-day with 2 little kids. Our kids are 2 years apart. And, I haven't seen my husband in, 15, 16 hours, but I got to go to Bible study and watch him minister and praise.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was tough. So I'm dragging my kids and I'm like, y'all seen him more than I have at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad you. So we're here now.
We here.
Yeah.
So we don't always see this side of ministry.
Yeah.
When the demand is being placed on the minstrel and the impact that it has on the family.
Yeah.
So take a minute, if you don't mind, Gwen, talk about how that demand on Minister Alfonso as the worship leader, how that made you feel as the wife and the mom, etc. Talk about that.
Sure. So I knew, in essence, when we were dating, again, we met in church. So I knew what I was getting into. In my mind, I knew that, you know, he would never be like 100% mine. Like, I know that he was, you know, God was going to use him for the world and for ministry. So I was okay with that, but I didn't really know that it would be as confining as it was for me and restrictive as it was for me. And, you know, I don't often say this publicly. I love my babies now. I love them. I love our family. Like, it's great. Motherhood was quite restrictive for me. Like, mothering and, in essence, doing it by myself, because being a married single mom is a real thing. And that's what it felt like.
Whoa. Hold on now. You said being a married single mom.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was tough.
Okay, I'm sorry. That was cold. I was like, bring that back one more time.
Yeah. And when you have a husband that's in ministry, he's not at a bar. He's not playing video games with his friends. You know, he's not out cheating. This is a man that comes home every night after his, you know, he feels like he's, you know, met all his obligations, and a man that provides for his family. So what do you say?
Right.
Like, what do you say? Don't go to church? You know, choose me, not ministry.
Right.
So, you know, in those seasons, in essence, like, you know, I lost my voice. I felt helpless. I felt hopeless. And I really felt like, you know, in order to cope, I had convinced myself that my role was no longer to be, you know, his wife, more so just to be his wife. My role as his wife was to more so be a support. So to just really become to a place where I'm okay with just the hey bye, the roommate situation, and then sending him on his way to do what God has called him to do. And that I didn't have to be a factor. Like, it's selfish of me somehow. And I had some of the mothers in the church co-signing, you know, it's not about you, it's about ministry. And I'm young, and this is why we really value, you know, our opportunity to do premarital and speak to married couples, because we didn't have a safe place. It was what goes on in the house stays in the house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you definitely don't step or challenge, you know, a call to ministry.
So you guys stumble into a place called the City Church with this pattern of life and this pattern of thinking. And unknowingly to me, I had no idea. How did like the City Church way combat or conflict that pattern of living and that pattern of thinking?
So initially before we actually officially joined, we were disconnected so we can pop in when we wanted to. Yet there was a moment after we had joined where I'm not exactly sure where we were going, what we were doing, but I think I contacted you and said we were thinking about going here or doing this, and it's going to be on a Sunday. And I was a little apprehensive because at this moment we had battled so much, and I'm like, okay, maybe I need to take some time because this thing about to be over, you know, if I don't, right? So I text you. I remember texting you, and you said, "Go take care of your family."
Yep.
And at that moment, I said, "Oh," I was like, "Okay," because normally because in times past, and this is no crack to anyone, but it's just like it's not that people actually force it. It's just like an understood narrative.
Yeah.
So when you said that, it was freeing because I'm like, wait a minute, he just said go take care of your family. He didn't say, oh, is there another time you can do this? Or, oh man, oh bro, we really need you this Sunday. What about? Yeah. It was just like, take care of your family.
Wow.
And at that moment, I really, it hit me. It was refreshing. It was kind of like when you put Vicks Vapor Rub on your chest and you can breathe all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It was one of those moments for me. And so, and that's where it
And I remember
started.
when you came home, I was like, what you here for? I was just like shocked. Because again, I had really almost like, dumb myself down, for lack of better words, to, like, this is my position. Take care of the home and just send him out and let him do whatever it is that he needs to do. So, that really gave us opportunity to really just restructure, rip up that foundation and rebuild a new one. And then you steady preaching it from the pulpit,
yeah,
with balance and family and kids, yeah. And, and then I modeled it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you were like, nobody's raising my boys but me. You said, I remember you saying that all the time. Like, nobody. So we've talked a lot, Gwen, about how you're so used to being in the background, mm-hmm. and it was like you come to City Church and not intentional, not knowing what was going on. It was like, okay. And I say this respectfully. It was almost like, okay, Alfonso, you good. Like, do what you do. But Gwen, no. Now I see something. Talk about that for a second. Yes. Again, I had become very comfortable in the background. I was chilling. And I mean, I would almost intentionally bring work to do, yes. So that, because he's naturally the social one. Like, a lot of people don't believe it, but I'm not super social. Like, I'm not necessarily, outgoing. But I would bring my work and I would sit on my iPad and I would be minding my business. And here you come. Or here comes Lady J. And I'm like, and I was just kind of almost, Pastor, if I was to be honest, I don't know if I've ever voiced this to you, but when I first came, I almost was kind of like, y'all just want him. Nobody's really interested in me. And I'm cool with that. So I'll just do my part. I'm here because you got to be the present wife. I'm playing this role. You got to do you. You got to do what you're supposed to do. Got my kids together. Everybody's dressed. We all here. And so I would just let them go. And I would just sit somewhere and do my thing. And that's kind of how it was. But you guys were not content with that.
And to be honest, I think another role that allowed even, I believe, Gwen to come out of her shell was just how you handle family, how you handle ministry, in a sense that are at ease to know that, okay, this is not going to be like before. This is different.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And it was so different that I remember even being comfortable enough to finally get up the nerve when I felt the call. I felt like, you know what? I've been through all this. I've overcome this. We went through, in addition to you all's teachings and the trainings, we went through a lot of, counseling and marriage dynamics and a lot of certifications, all these different things to kind of do our own work, and handle our own business before we could even think about opening up doors and helping anybody else. But I remember coming to you and feeling like I've been through all of this and I feel this call to help women. Because a lot of women, we just have lost who we are. Like, we lose our identity, or we feel like we have to choose. And I remember telling you, I don't know. All I know is that I'm just called to support women. I don't know if that means me going back to school. I don't know what that means, but I didn't want to just bring my own experiences and my one-sided emotions and my limited capacity to the table when I really wanted to kind of reach reach the masses, reach women worldwide from different backgrounds. And I remember when you were like, have you heard of grief recovery? And I was like, what? grief what? And I'm like, how does this relate? But I wasn't going to challenge it. So you gave me the book and I read the book. And I remember being like, oh my Lord, I need to sign up immediately. I mean, and it really just set me free. And I always say, the City Church is, where my name changed.
Wow.
Like when there's many instances in the Bible where there were certain instances that were wrestling, but their name was changed at the end of the struggle, at the end of the fight. And it was really a point now where I was able to be Gwen and Alfonso's wife and Alyssa and Joshua's mom. And then you even, added, ministry lead to the title. I would have never thought that. So
you preaching a little bit right now. I'm almost, I can't take no more of this right here. Let's talk about really quickly as we kind of wrap this thing up. City Church is not special. City Church is not perfect. City Church is special. City Church is not perfect. We have our own issues and blah, blah, blah. With that being said, it is an instrument that God has chosen to use to impact so many lives. Kind of as we segue out of here, I want to give you guys the opportunity to just share briefly the impact that City Church has had on your lives individually, as a couple, as a family. Talk about that for a moment.
City Church, again, is like an incubator. It's like the perfect environment for people to grow and people to thrive and people to become. And that's what it was for me. It was an incubator, and I sat for a few years before anything ever, manifested. But I love that. So it helped me walk into purpose, and it gave me, opportunity that I just never would have thought. But then it's one thing to have opportunity, but to have opportunity and support is just like, that's the formula for success, because it wasn't like I'm just throwing you out here. I mean, I remember when I was getting certified, those that have been through grief recovery know it is no joke. Yeah. And what they go through in a matter of 6 weeks, I had to do in 5 days. Mm-hmm. And I remember and that was some heavy, deep emotional work. And I remember you saying, hey, you got it, get up. It's time to do another day. It's time to go another day. So that was how, it's really impacted me personally, because it really was an incubator, like a place where I could just kind of just grow and learn and mold and really become. And we're seeing that now in our kids, because it's crazy when I'm just like, you know what, okay, he's doing, your dad's going to praise worship practice, praise team rehearsal, and so we're good, we got a few minutes, let's go hit Starbucks, let's go get breakfast, and but are we going to be back for praise and worship? Because, we got to be back for praise and worship. And she's 15. She's been saying that since she was, 13, 14. And she will say, you know what? Pastor T is one of the few preachers that I can understand.
Wow.
And she's firm on that. So, that blesses my heart as I have a teenager that's 15, about to be 16, and she's going to be in college soon. But she knows that there's a voice where she too is safe. So not only was it an incubator for me, now my children are being able to be in that same environment and grow and thrive.
Yeah, so for me, it was a transformation station. It was like an infusion of...
You're always trying to show me up.
I'm not trying to where you do it's like a blood transfusion where the City Church really breaks the stigma of church and tradition. Yeah. Like, it breaks the traditional realms of religion, and it shows Christ through relationship. And I'm not just talking about just relationship through going to church, but relationship with God, relationship individually, relationship with family, and how it connects to the whole body and not just one. Like, through your teaching and through your leadership, you've shown that, you're not here to serve me. Like, I'm here to lead you. And as a result, do what you will. And you say it continually. You do you. Yeah. But it really just opened my eyes to a lot of things that I was missing relationally for my family, just because of what I've seen for so many years. Mm-hmm. So it was really transformational, and it changed the trajectory of what this Jones family would have looked like had we not started to be connected.
And that's why I value the city culture, like our culture codes. I mean, that's real, and that is near and dear to my heart, because those are the elements that give us, opportunity to grow and thrive.
And then as a couple, it helped us because, and this may sound weird, because you give us time to breathe.
Oh yeah.
It's not church, summer, do. It's what now? What have you? I remember one time you asked us, have y'all been on like a vacation by yourself? Yeah. I also learned this, the whole, you take a vacation together as a couple, and then you take one as a family with all the kids. Game changer. Mm-hmm. That was a game changer because we would go on vacation with the kids and be stressed out after we got back because we're trying to attend to them, so we didn't really got anything. But now you going to your grandma's house, we out. But it gives us time to really enjoy one another, learn one another, and it's just amazing because as you always teach, you exemplify things and you give us the information. You always grow and take us with you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And you even teach honor, because I'm a workaholic, we all know, but you have many times told me, sit down, like turn the computer off, stop working. And and in that, you honor my husband, and seeing him be abused for so long. We've been married, 17 years. And I think I told you this one time. I haven't said this to you, but I was just like, you know what? Thank you for taking care of him. Like, if you don't do another thing for me, just keep taking care of him, and I'll handle all the business I need to handle on behalf of the City Church. So it's a beautiful thing on many levels.
We got to go, man. Y'all not about to make me cry up in here. I'm about to do it today. Not today. Oh, man. Good Jesus. So, on our way out, I'm supposed to ask you some rapid fire questions. I'm going to ask you a few of them. As you hear it, I want you to respond as quickly as you can. If you need to unpack it a little, do it quickly. But let's kind of pick up speed here and have some fun. So on our way out, I was given these questions. I feel uncomfortable asking some of them, but I'm going to ask them because I'm supposed to. So your favorite PT quote or saying?
Mine is when you spit fire, or you just, you calling our bluff, and then you be like, welcome to the City Church. And then you drop the mic and walk away. That welcome to the City Church, you already know. You just got to get.
My favorite one is in the middle of a sermon when you're about to make another point. You say, "May I pause and parenthetically insert?"
Uh-oh.
That's my favorite right there.
Let's go. Compliments of my pastor and spiritual father, Dr. R.A. Vernon. All right, let's talk about this one. Your favorite message or series. Your favorite message or series that you can recall.
Ooh, mine is going way back. I don't even remember what it was called, but it was about the vine. We were at the high school, and you had the vines. Yeah. Remember, we had a little TV on the floor.
Oh yeah.
And you had the vines draped over the TV.
We were killing them with the TVs on the floor. They weren't ready for the TVs on the floor.
I remember it was early while we were there, but that message, you dissected that in such a way that blew my mind. And I knew that you were a thinker and a reader, and I could follow you.
Secrets of the Vine. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Mine was for the people in the back.
Oh, yeah.
No disrespect, but the City Church version, like, we got it first. And
yes.
That thing, they both was fire. But that thing, the people in the back, nobody comes for us. And I feel like you came for us on that day. And wow. So, that thing still sits heavy with me, because I just appreciate you pausing and using your platform to come and get us.
I love it. That means so much. Let's go. Your favorite City Church guest speaker. They're all great. Your favorite one though.
Bishop Brown and the butterfly effect specifically.
Mine is Godby. I like
Bishop Godby.
Yeah.
Bishop Godby, he's definitely a beast.
Yeah.
So there might be some conflict of interest here. Alfonso, if you don't want to answer this one, you don't have to. Your favorite sound, we all know what Gwen's going to say. Your favorite sound of the city song.
Go ahead, man.
It had to be the Love Medley. I love medleys.
Yeah.
The Love Medley was probably one of my favorites.
Killed it.
Yeah, so my first thought was Your Great Name. But I really got that goes hard. We get lit. Like we turn up on that song.
You do kind of turn into groupie mode when that song comes up.
I'm a groupie now all day, every day.
You making up for lost time.
I'm the biggest cheerleader. But I would say my favorite is that Brandy sings it. My Praise is a Weapon. I don't know the name. I'm not a song person, but yeah, that was the first time I seen her do a two-step.
All right, here's our last one. Your favorite City Church moment. Favorite City Church moment and or memory.
My favorite City Church moment was the pandemic. I mean, we was doing the virtual. We had city groups. I mean, we was pulling up. We was taking stuff to people to the families. We were calling, making calls. I was just like, this man is relentless. And I was talking about it. Like the way we were so creative in crisis and made it happen. That whole year, even though I was oppressed and the struggle for you, I can only imagine. But it was inspiring to me.
I don't know if we can go into detail with this one, but as we were growing our leadership team, do you remember the Last Supper?
Oh Lord,
that was my
Why
favorite.
would that be your favorite? Why?
If anybody knows, my wife knows. I love, like, when I see movies, I want to see something that like throws you for a loop. I love intellect, like thinking outside of the box. That thing for me, I'm telling you, that was my favorite.
I was not expecting that.
It was so dope. The way
I'm not gonna talk about that.
That was the way you. Anyway, I'm sorry. It just stands out in my mind. I was like, dang.
That was cold.
It was cool. It was cool.
That was cold. Listen, man, I'm so appreciative for you guys giving this time. City Church Nation, thank you for giving us your time. I pray that you have enjoyed yourselves, that you have been blessed, you have been encouraged, you have been strengthened. This is only day 2. We're going all the way through the rest of the week. We're going all the way through Saturday evening. And listen, who's ever out there doing your little snow dance, cut it out. Sit down somewhere. All right. This weekend, with all intention, I'm looking forward to being in the room as City Church celebrates 8. I already know what I'm preaching. I already know what I'm wearing. It's got to go down in the room. So let's set our hearts and set our minds to see one another this weekend. But until then, I want you to make sure you tune in every weeknight this week, 7 o'clock. Different interviewers, different interviewees. It's going to be amazing. And we miss you. We love you. We speak the blessing of God over you. Until we meet again, God bless you. I appreciate you guys so much.
Appreciate you, PT.